What's up, everybody? It's Duke here, back from sportsgamers.com, and in today's Madden 20 tip, I'm going to show you my top 5 tips and tricks to run the ball better and more effectively in Madden 20. I've been running the ball all year long pretty effectively against all the defenses, and I'm going to show you my top 5 tips that have led me to success to be able to run the ball pretty much at will all year long against anyone's defense, no matter what. So, if you guys like this video, please give us a thumbs up. It really does help support us. And also, if you're new to the channel, or even if you're not, subscribe, turn your notifications on. That way you won't miss any of our great content. So let's get right into the video. I want to start with tip number 5, which is abilities. Guys, if you're going to be running the ball, abilities are necessary on this year's game. You can use, if you want to run at the running back, you might want to use evasive, jukebox, arm bar, bruiser. If you're going to run wildcat, you're probably going to want to use human joystick. If you're running with the quarterback, again, you're probably going to want to use fast break. Abilities are big. And just, as an example here, I got the Bengals in practice mode with Joe Mixon to show you how you can turn, little runs into big runs using abilities. So it's going to come out here, set a D up. I'm going to show you exactly how the abilities are so game changing. As you can see here, we have a nice little 10-yard run or so turned into a much bigger run with the broken tackle. Now, guys, I'm aware that, with tackle supreme and whatnot, other defensive abilities, it can be more difficult to pound the rock and break tackles, because those guys, are harder to make miss or break the tackle from. But as you can see here, I'm playing the Seahawks, who do have a couple tackling abilities, and it doesn't always come into play because the player tackling you, even if they do have a player like that on their defense, won't always have that ability. Remember, there can only be 3 abilities at the most on a defensive team in MUT. So 3 different players, with defense abilities on a team in MUT, regs, whatever. So obviously not every defensive player is going to have ability. And past that, at this point, the pass rushing abilities are so good, you're starting to see a lot less tackling abilities and more pass rushing abilities. So moving on to the next tip, this is tip number 4. I want to show you guys how to always run the ball effectively against zone. Stretch RPOs. If you see anyone running a zone run defense, stretch RPO needs to be your call. I like the strong IH wing from the Oakland playbook, but really any stretch RPO is good. I will say that the ones with the fullbacks are better, and this one's really good too because you have the 2 tight ends on one side, so obviously it's really strong blocking. To the twin tight end side, then you have the fullback as well. But bottom line, if you see a zone defense, you want to run a stretch RPO, because as you guys can see here, the defense does not react to them. They immediately back up at the snap, and you have really, really easy yardage, guys. The only way to counter this, it doesn't matter if you play cover 2, cover 3, cover 4. No sort of zone defense is going to consistently stop this at all. The only way they'll ever have a chance in a zone defense is if they just make a really good user play. As my game just froze in the middle of the run there. Gotta love Madden 20, huh? But yeah, if you see zone defense, you definitely want to run a stretch RPO. Man defenses do a pretty decent job of slowing them down. So if you want to learn how to beat Mandy, you're going to want to basically go away from stretch RPO and look at our next tip. So in tip number 3, I want to show you guys, focus on how to beat man-to-man run defenses. General rule of thumb, man-to-man run defense is use motion. The most common man-to-man run Ds definitely get abused with motion, and there's lots of good motions on this game. Just to show you a couple examples, we'll start with the wing flex close. There's several motions in this game that can give you a numbers advantage. This is one of the better ones. So this is edge blitz from 3-4 odd, pretty meta type run D. And what I'm going to do here is playmaker the wing flex close stretch to the left and motion my inside right tight end to the left. And you can see that his defender does not follow him. He actually moves back to the other side. So we gain a numbers advantage. Therefore, we have really good blocking to the outside to pick up good yardage. And here we even get a 1-play touchdown. Now, guys, this is, or maybe down to the 1-yard line, 2-yard line, whatever it was. Now, this is not like just the only example. Obviously, if you've been playing this game, you've probably seen this motion this year. This is just a quick example. Obviously, just in general, motion is very effective against man-to-man defense because you glitch out a lot of the man-to-man defenses using motion this year with great effectiveness that you couldn't really do otherwise. So just to give you some more examples, that's one. A lot of the times, what other people like to do is they'll run the little I form tight uh, stretch. So this is another example of what I'm talking about. So what you can do here is, this is a little bit more advanced, but basically, if you guys send your receiver in motion, just like this, and then once you send them in motion, you flip the play, you can playmaker it back to the right, and you'll see that, the defenders run across the field switching sides, basically giving you a free lane to run the ball. And all you have to do is just playmaker the run to the right, back from the side that you motion the guy away from, and just quick snap. And as you can see, there's defenders running across the field. That pretty much negates the man-to-man safety in the box. There's no one on the right side of the field now to defend this, and you can get a lot of big plays with this. Now, this is kind of a little gimmick glitch type situation. This has been around for the most part this year. So, most high-level players have seen this. So, if you're playing a bum, I'm sure you can hit them with this like a bunch of times. If you're playing a high-level player, they're probably going to be on the lookout for this, and you might get them once or twice. But it's not something you can abuse all game. But it is a nice little trick to use. A little bit more advanced, to take advantage of motion in the run game. But like I said, there's several really nice motions. Just again, another good motion I like is from the strong close outside zone. So just giving you a whole bunch of different examples just to show you different ways you can basically take advantage of man-to-man defense with motion. So here, what I like to do on this play is I like to motion the fullback out of the backfield, and when he goes out wide, you'll notice he brings the safety with him. So now the safety's no longer in the box, which is what makes this run defense really good. So now you can see we just cut it right up in the spot that he vacated for easy yardage. So again, the thing about man-to-man run defense is that safety in the box is just so crucial. When you are able to get away from him, you're going to have great success. And we're using motion to do so here. Once again, you can see he was lined up right around in here, right? We motioned the fullback out. Now he's no longer to be found, and we run right where the spot he vacated for a huge, huge play. Just to run that back one more time. You can literally see with mixing, I'm able to attack the gap right easily for a huge play. Now for my number 2 tip to run the ball more effectively in Madden 20, I want to focus on the actual types of formations you're running the ball from. You need to be running the ball from balanced formations, especially when someone has a good run defense. Wing tight U, I've posted a lot about this formation because I love it so much. But a lot of people just look for literally a formation that have a stretch and a dive. And, they just go with any formation with a stretch and a dive. Yeah, stretch and dive is the best run combo, but you also need a formation that is balanced. Why? It's very important to be balanced because if you remember, I was just going over a lot of these man-to-man run defenses have the safety in the box that you can't counter with motion, but at the same time, you don't always want to have to just rely strictly on motion. So a way I like to take advantage of it is to basically run a formation like this that is balanced both to the left and the right. So then the safety in the box, you don't even have to use any motion. You can just kind of like negate him, so he doesn't even matter. What I mean by that is if you look at our formation here, you can see on the right side we have 2 tight ends, but on the left side we have 1 tight end and a receiver out wide. So basically the blocking is similar on both sides. We essentially have 2 extra blockers on each other formation. So a lot of times in a formation where, it's just strong, obviously better blocking one way than the other. And what the defense is going to do is they're going to put their auto flip on so the safety is always in the box on the strong side. And then even if you flip it, he's going to move to the strong side when you flip it. So you can't really ever gain an advantage unless you use motion like I showed in the last tip. However, with formations like this, both sides are pretty much nearly as strong as one another, very similar in strength in terms of blocking, so you don't even need to use any motion. I can just come out in the huddle, see that the safety's on the right, playmaker my run to the left, just go away from him, and I know I'm going to get good blocking. And you can see right there, I got like 7 or so yards before I was even touched. And obviously at that point, when you're getting 7 or so yards before you're even touched, that's a recipe for success. Because obviously at that point, all it takes is basically your 1 broken tackle away from scoring a touchdown. But you can easily, obviously, if you're getting 7 yards up and down the field, you're easily going to eventually score a touchdown, So at the end of the day, we'll take that all day long. This is actually the exact run I used in the club championship against Clef to beat him. And, it was just, he was running Storm Brave, very similar to Edge Blitz. And, it just was able to easily capitalize on that. So, moral of the story, look for balanced offensive formations to run the ball to with equal block. Last but not least, our number one tip for running the ball better and more effectively in Madden 20 is to simply not be afraid to get other players involved in your run scheme. You don't strictly have to be force feeding the ball to your running back. A lot of people might consider this cheese or glitchy or cheap or like unrealistic. But Madden 20 is, quite frankly, not a very realistic game because if you think about it, this year's game is so run friendly. Where in the NFL do you see teams running the ball every play? I mean, you just don't. But it is Madden, and if you want to win, you got to do what you got to do. So whether that means running the quarterback like Lamar Jackson out of the the Saints formation with the QB blast, or in the heavy Panther with the QB blast, or even just running one of your fast receivers at Wildcat, as I'm going to show you here. Do what you got to do. Get other players involved. Just don't strictly stay with the running back. I mean, there's so many different ways to run the ball this year. It's crazy. So as you can see here, what I'm doing is I'm still with the Bengals. As you saw, I was abusing Joe Mixon. Now, you know what? Now I'm in the Wildcat, and I'm using my receiver to a quarterback package to put John Ross in the game to run the power with. And I can run power. I can run jet sweep. I can run blast, counter. I can do any of these runs are good. So jet sweeps, powers, counters, blast, all that stuff. I said, don't be afraid to get your quarterback or your receiver in the Wildcat involved in the run game, whether we're talking, the heavy Panther, the Wildcat. Obviously, this Wildcat is in the run and gun playbook, but, the Carolina playbook has the heavy Panther and a Wildcat themselves. So there's plenty of options for you. Most people have no idea how to defend these formations. And they're very awkward to defend. You just see here what I'm talking about. Now, one thing I'll say is, and I can't do this in practice mode, but when you're doing this in game, make sure you turn your ball carrier setting on conservative so you don't fumble. You have a much higher chance of fumbling with players out of position, like receivers that running the Wildcat, or even quarterbacks just running the ball out of shotgun. Much higher chance of fumbling that way. So make sure if you're going to do it, you put yourself on conservative, and your fumble chance will go way down. If you stay on balance or especially aggressive, you can definitely fumble. But as you guys can see here, this Wildcat is a problem. I mean, I just literally picked the play and just scored a touchdown basically the first play. I got inside the 1 or 2. And, what can I say about the Wildcat, man? Like I said, these formations, a lot of people look at them as like almost cheap to use, but guess what? If you were playing weekend league, if you're playing mud, if you're playing franchises, if you're playing regs, I guarantee you've played this game against good players. I guarantee you've played people who ran these formations on you and these plays on you, and they were a pain in the neck to stop. So, if your opponents are going to do it, you need to be doing it too. If you want to win on this year's game, you got to play to the strengths. Trust me, I'm normally every year, pretty much I've loved to pass the ball since I played Madden. This year I became a runner because you're putting yourself at a disadvantage dropping back and passing the ball in this year's game. You just truly are, when you can literally just call plays like this and know you're essentially going to get good yardage. So I hope I hope that this helped you guys out and gave you guys some great tips on how to improve your run game. Take it from me, someone who's lab running the ball the highest level and had a great success all year long. These tips will definitely help y'all out. So until next time, check out sportsgamers.com. If you're looking to improve your Madden game, offense and defense, we have everything you need. Ebooks, weekly tips on our membership. Check us out. We provide a lot of great content on there. If you're liking our YouTube tips, you'll definitely love our premium content on sportsgamers.com because it is much more detailed and advanced than even the free tips we put out on here. So, hope you guys enjoy. It's Duke. Until next time, I'm out.